Ayan, so hello everyone. Once again, I'm Corinne Celadonio, sales representative at Jellyfish Education Philippines Incorporated, and I will be your speaker for today's webinar. I think we might still be missing a few people today, pero I'm going to kick things off now so that later on we still have some time to get through everything. So in this presentation, I am going to walk you through some of the reasons bakit si Japan is yung pinaka-safe na country for students and to discuss further din yung efficient public transportation nila. So, wait lang. Wait lang guys Ayan. So, let's start na talaga. Ayan. So, Japan is generally safe and is rated among the safest countries sa buong mundo. Reports of crime gaya ng nakawan are very low and travelers are often stunned by the fact na iniiwan lang ng locals yung belongings nila kapag nasa cafeteria sila or sa mga bar. Though we certainly don't recommend it kasi mas mabuti nang maingat and maagap, right? And with that being said kasi, there are a couple of safety factors every travelers or learners should keep in mind before they go. Like yung environmental and weather safety. Knowing na as a Pacific Ring of Fire si Japan, they are frequently hit with natural disasters caused by the movement of the region's tectonic plates. And these natural disasters like yung earthquakes, tsunamis, extreme flooding, and yung typhoons. Just like what happened to Japan last 2013 nung hinagupit sila nung bagyong Yolanda or known as Haiyan. And street crime is extremely rare din kahit na late at night, of course. Hindi pa rin naman to nangangahulugan na Japan is completely crime-free without any dangers and you shouldn't let your guard down. Because there is always a possibility, however, unlikely naman siya that you might fall victim to a form of petty crime during your stay sa Japan. Kapag nangailangan ka ng tulong, pwede kang pumunta sa local koban. And by the way, yung koban is yung small police boxes dotted throughout the Japanese neighborhood. And if you don't know where one is, you can also ask around naman if saan sila. And if you should find yourself without your credit cards, airline tickets, or yung passport nyo dahil nanakaw siya, you can immediately contact naman yung issuers to arrange for replacements. And in addition to that, yung public transport and taxis naman are safe and reliable. But it is recommended that you should be very careful with your valuables in public transport since that's where pickpockets operate, no? Yung mga nandudukot. And women on crowded trains should bear in mind the existence of chikan, which means yung mga nangmomolestya or yung mga grappers. Though they usually target naman yung mga local women since they're less likely to make a sin daw. But, you know, kailangan pa rin talaga na vigilant tayo sa surroundings natin. Kaya, assuming na nasa Japan na tayo, what are the different transport system na pwede natin magamit and accessible doon sa place of stay natin? Ayan. Japan is renowned for having an efficient and dependable rail system. The nation has an excellent, effective transportation system that can get you practically everywhere in the nations comfortably and quickly. So, ayan, here are the two types na makakatulong sa atin when it comes to transportation. Number one is yung Japan Rail Pass and yung another one naman is yung IC cards. So for the Japan Rail Pass, the Japan Rail groups many forms of transportation including yung mga Shinkansen or yung mas widely known as bullet trains, yung mga buses, and even yung ferries. Those are all available to you during the specified number of days with this pass. And yung second one naman is yung IC cards. In Japan's larger cities, kakailanganin mo yung IC card because this will enable you to travel on almost all trains, subways, and buses. And take note na yung IC card are essentially prepaid, no? Charging cards for public transit, but they may also be used sa mga shops, restaurants, vending machines, and yung mga conveni. And next, here naman are the mode of transportation. Yung trains, yung city buses, taxi, and yung Shinkansen or yung bullet train nga. For the first one is yung train. Undoubtedly, the most widely used and practical mode of transportation in Japan is via train talaga. And every part of the country is connected by an infinite number of railroad routes. And the largest railroad firm in Japan is the Japan Railway Group, which operates roughly around 70% of the nation's rail infrastructure, no? And the next one is yung subway naman. Wait. Ayan. Ay, no. Buses yan. Ayan, yung subways. In Japan, subway is one of the primary component of the rail system. Subway stations are widely available then, especially sa mga major cities like yung Tokyo, Osaka, Nagoya, and yung Kyoto. They cover a wide range of important regions in great detail, including yung mga business districts, shopping centers, and yung mga well-known na tourist attractions. So the question is, may pinagkaiba ba yung trains and subway? Yes or no? You may comment down your ideas or thoughts about this sa comment section. So, ayan. Yes daw according to Mr. Mac Prince, no? And to answer that, yes, no, because yung JR trains, parang niraran siya above the ground, and the other train lines naman na owned by the private companies, yun naman is niraran underground or the metro system. And next, we also have city buses. Ayan yung Japan's extensive bus network that aids in providing travelers with a practical mode of transportation. Many people utilize city buses talaga in larger cities or other developed areas because they have a widespread of bus network for a variety of reasons, including yung transportation, shopping, sightseeing, and more. And kapag kinumpara naman siya sa other forms of public transportation, the fare is typically quite affordable naman talaga. And kasi sa mga rural places, the city buses are also connected by a number of bus stands, making it easier for travelers to get where they're going than by a train, no? Kasi in the countryside kasi, they are mainly used by the locals or the elders na who can get around on their own. And next one is the less common transportation in Japan is yung taxi. Why? Because this is due in part to the fare, which can occasionally be expensive. So, meaning mahal daw talaga, no? Kasi it's also because na mas accessible talaga yung train or yung mga bus kasi anywhere in the city, meron talagang mga train and buses. And kapag wala naman na talagang train or bus service, such as kagaya ng late at night, no, or during a short trip, it is wise to utilize a cab na lang. And taxi sometimes be your sole choice talaga in more remote or tiny towns. And lastly is yung Shinkansen or yung bullet train. This is also a train, no? Pero this is well known kasi na Shinkansen commonly referred talaga yun nga, yung bullet train, and it is widely regarded as a representative train of Japan. So kilala talaga si Japan because of yung mga bullet train nga nila na service, no? And it has been the main mode of transportation for getting everyone across the nation since it began operation in year 1964 fa. offering smooth trips and knowledgeable services. The majority of the nations is conveniently served by the high-speed Shinkansen network with the exception of the Sanin and Shikoku regions. So, turning our view now to some of the reasons why the Japanese government encourages commuting. Ayan. A lot of people from other cultures find this fact from Japan to be quite unusual. I mean, di ba, here kasi in the Philippines, ang uttermost priority ng parents is yung safety talaga ng anak sa pagpasok sa school dahil yung panganib nga is inevitable and nasa paligid lang. And only if we would know na in advance na may hindi magandang mangyayari sa atin, edi sana maiiwasan natin siya, no? But that's why it is important na mag-ingat tayo, no? Kasi maraming tourists from other countries talaga see children as young as 7 years of age to be walking around the neighborhood alone, especially for small communities. And many people have commented about the safety ng mga children. And even me, no, kasi the first time I discovered this, kasi di ba, tayo nga na nakakatanda lapitin pa rin ng disgrasya or panganib. And how much more those kiddos, no? But we shouldn't underestimate pa rin their capability kasi with a proper knowledge and guidance, no, we know na if there's unprecedented happenings na mag-occur, and we must say it confidently na they can respond to it immediately. And some people are even so surprised that many Japanese parents will allow their children to commute to school, noting that there is unforeseeable danger lurking around the environment. But what these people need to understand is the fact that students commuting to school is a common occurrence and it is highly encouraged by the Japanese government, which is kailangan natin irespeto because we also have different culture and traditions here in the Philippines na nire-respeto rin naman nila. And in some schools, commuting to school is mandatory and parents are forced to swallow their fear and trust their child and community for safety. Grabe, di ba, kasi parang kahit na anong dasal natin, no, we all know na may nakaabang talaga na panganib. Kaya nakaka-amaze na nilalabanan ng Japanese people yung fear nila. And there are also public schools in every city in Japan like Tokyo, or in almost every district. Students are supposed to enter the public school for which their residence is nearest. So malapit, no? Malapit sa bahay nila, whether it is within the same district or neighboring district. This is why a child's house to their school can usually take a few minutes of walking or biking. And also their classmates will also be from the same neighborhood daw. And it is common to see groups of kids walking from school to their homes. Ayan. When it comes naman to views of the Japanese government to student commuters, syempre, before naman tayo sumunod sa mandate, we should validate the reason first. Bakit ganun, no? Kasi hindi naman pwedeng sunod-sunod lang tayo, no, na hindi natin alam kung bakit. And kaya ayon, anyone can learn that the walk to school mandate has been in place in Japan since the early 1950s by simply reviewing the country's historical developments. Noon pa man, it has been vigorously maintained and the government continues to give it its full backing today. And parents may choose to do this dahil sinusuportahan nila kung ano ang gusto ma-accomplish ng gobyerno sa Japan for their children rather than to save money on the cost of sending their children to school. At isa sa goal ng Japanese government is gusto nilang ma-improve ang self-reliance ng mga bata. It is through this independence that the child learns how to be responsible and run simple errands for the family. It gives them an impression na kaya nila despite their age. Also, with the advent of technology, no, mas palagay na yung loob ng parents nowadays na pag-commutein yung mga anak nila with their own kasi they have their cellular phones where they can access map apps and other safety-related apps. And furthermore, with the modernization of transportation technology, parents can rest assured of their children's safety na. That's why, as a result, young kids in Japan are very independent and they have an impressive sense of responsibility and freedom. However, all adults in the community have an equal responsibility to ensure these children's safety. And even if they are children that are not their own, no, parang kahit na hindi mo nga daw anak is talagang magke-care ka kasi parang iniisip mo is kapag ka iningatan mo yung bata na hindi mo kakilala, parang ini-expect mo in return na kapag nangyari din yun sa anak mo, parang may gagawa din ng kabutihan para sa kanila, and perhaps they know that the other strangers will do the same for their children, as what I am saying. And that would be all.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Fatima Valesa. I came from Manila, Philippines. I studied at Kyoto Minsai Japanese Language School, batch 2020. And currently, I am living here in Kyoto. And I have a SSW visa, or special skilled worker visa holder. So today, I'll be sharing with you a glimpse of my roller coaster journey here in Japan as international student in four aspects. First, I'll be talking about school stuff, and school activities. Next is personal. How did I survive living alone, or the Hitoriku Rashi no Seikatsu? Next is social. How I manage student or study work-life balance. And lastly is the financial. How I survive, or I'll be giving some student tipid hacks, and how I manage to send money back home while I'm still studying. Okay, first let's go with school. Okay, so this picture is our first picture when we arrived here in Kansai International Airport. Yes, we are all in full gear because we are the pandemic babies. We were supposed to enter Japan last April 2020, but due to COVID, we've got delays after delays. But we believe that God's delays are not denials, so we hold on to our dreams. Then luckily, last November 2020, when Japan opened borders for international student, we are one of those lucky students to enter Japan. Then picture below is obviously elevator shot during our last day at quarantine. So we were strictly followed the 14-day quarantine during those times. But right now, when you enter Japan, you don't need to do the quarantine. Then this one is my first picture at Kyoto Minsai Japanese Language School, located at Kyoto. So why did I choose to study here? Because Kyoto Minsai was located in Kyoto, which is known as the cultural capital of Japan. And I am into Japanese culture stuff. So it's better to study here in Kyoto if you are into Japanese culture stuff or traditional stuff. Next is, this is how our class looks like. We were composed of Vietnamese, Uzbeks, Indonesians, Russians, and many more. So we have our advisors every semester, every autumn, Aki, summer, and Puyo or winter. We have advisors. Then they were tasked to have a mendan or interview. They meet us every end of the semester to ask regarding our problems and anything under the sun. If we are struggling with our finances, school stuff, or personal stuff. So they were very helpful during those times. Then we also have here some activities. Kyoto Minsai offered some electives. So if you enrolled in Japanese language, if you enroll in Japanese language for job purposes, they have a job hunting class wherein you will learn how to write resume in Japanese, They will teach you how to answer some Japanese interviews, or they will give you a glimpse of Japanese working setting, or they will also teach you some Japanese work ethics. Then they also have a university or daigaku class. If you enroll in a Japanese language just to pursue some higher education, they are offering some reviews for university entrance exams, some math classes, English classes, and many more. But just like what I've said, I'm into culture, so I enrolled or I joined the cultural class. So these are the things I've learned during those times. So we have the ikebana or the flower arrangement. We also have the tea making contest or the tea making ceremony, wherein I've learned how to create or how to make a tea out of scratch, how to serve it in a okiakusama or visitor or customer. Then also learn how to wear the kimono, but don't get me wrong, I still don't do it on my own. It's too complicated. Also learn basic self-defense or taekwondo. Then we also have some field trips or educational tours. But during those times, the restrictions are too high. So we only have like one or two educational tours. So this was taken at Kyomisudera. We have educational tour around Gion, Kyomisudera, and Kawaramachi. All expenses paid by school. But right now, since the restrictions is, I think they have a lot of educational tours around Kyoto. Then what I love being international student here in Kyoto is the Ryugakusei Okoshiyasu Pass, wherein you will get the chance to enter some of the tourist destination here in Kyoto with this pass and with your international student card. So I took advantage of entering the Kyoto Tower. Ilang beses ang pumasok dito because of this pass. So also got the chance to enter the Kyoto International Manga Museum. If you are into manga, you can read manga written like decades ago. You can stay up you can stay whole day here, or if you want to go here every day, it's up to you as long as you have the international pass. And also visit some castle like the Niju Castle and the Arashiyama Iwatayama Monkey Park. So these are my some of my activities during my international student class. So I in Nihongo Gakko class. So you have classes, 4-hour classes a day, Monday to Friday. My morning or afternoon. Morning is 8 to 12, then afternoon it's 2 to 6 p.m. So other time of the day you can do your part time. So next I'll be sharing about my personal stuff. How did I survive living alone or the seikatsu hitori gurashi no seikatsu? First, labahin mo laba mo, basura mo tapon mo, and cravings mo luto mo. But at the end of the day, no matter how toxic or how challenging the day was, I always end up here in this place. And I'm lucky enough that I'm living closest to one of the Catholic churches here in Japan, here in Kyoto. And of course, living alone helped me deepen my faith more because no one is here. It's all up to me. I don't have anyone to depend on except on him. So realize that instead of crying out myself, need to go out, need to enjoy the place or Japan itself because I will never be here forever. So I applied as a full time. I'm a part-time worker, part-time student, and a full-time traveler. So I took advantage of Japan's natural healing power. So of course, I know every one of you is dreaming to see this cherry blossom. Just like me before I went here in Japan, I am dreaming to have a picture beside cherry blossom or the sakura. But I'm telling you, there's a lot of beautiful flowers here in Japan and you will love everything. So next is the Natsu or the summer. most hated by everyone because it's too hot here in Japan. But since I'm a summer baby, I love summer here in Japan. I'm into nature, I'm into hiking, and Japan's offer a lot of mountains and greeneries. Next is Aki, top fave of everyone, my most loved also, or autumn, where everything around you turns into orange or brown. So right now, we are in Aki season. Medyo malamig na rin. Then last one is winter or Fuyu. Don't ask me why I don't have any picture at or during those times dahil di ko po gusto ang winter. At first, I'm too excited to see the snow because of course, we don't have any snow in the Philippines. But as time goes by, hindi pala masaya. Malamig, malamig na malamig. So luckily, here in Kyoto, it doesn't pile up compared to other part of Japan. Umuulan lang, pero after 2 hours natutunaw din. Okay, so when you are alone, during those times, I realized that it's okay to be alone sometimes. Talagang mag-isa ka dito sa Japan, nag-aaral ka, it's all up to you how to enjoy life, how to find happiness on your own. But sometimes I've loosened up. I realized that no one will ever have the full access to my thoughts, to my dreams, except me, myself, and I. But of course, realize that I need someone to depend on. I need someone to listen to my struggles, and someone who can crack some jokes and who can also listen to my jokes as well. So that's where my social life entered. First friends that I made, of course, my classmates. We were just like what I've said. We came from different countries. So it's a challenge for us to learn Japanese because that's the only constant to all of us. Some of my classmates didn't speak or don't know anything about English. So it's up to us how to communicate using Japanese language. And don't get me wrong, mata Nihongo Jozo Junakute. I am not that good enough in Japanese up until now. I'm still learning. Okay, so we have here a tradition every after Kaiwak classes or the conversation class where we eat out, stress out, we went to videoke, we played some games, we eat out, of course, ramen days and everything. Okay, so we also have here my friends turn into family because I believe that Filipinos are everywhere and lucky enough to meet some Filipinos here. First picture here below is I met some Filipino in Nagoya through my tita. This is my first Christmas. Hindi ako nakaramdam ng lungkot because they were very hospitable talaga. Talagang di ko naramdaman na first time ko sila ma-meet. Like, they were very welcoming to me. Then, these people, we are studying in the same school, Kyoto Minsai, but we have different level or classes. Yan. So, they helped me survive my international student life. So, yan. You can depend on them if you met some Filipinos as well. Next is financial. Financial aspect, tipid hacks if you are into bento or if you don't have any cooking skills like me na itlog lang, tamago every day. So, I advise you to visit a supermarket 1 to 2 hours before they close. They offered like 50% to 80% off or on their bento. You can stock this on your fridge for 2 to 3 days. Siguro, if you have microwave, you can heat it up. Next day, you have your bento or your pack lunch. Then took advantage of using Syria, Daiso, Kendo, Flats, or Yakuyan store. They offered a lot. They have everything on their place naman. So it's a Yakuyan store or 100 yen store. Then I never forget to treat myself every after payday because working here in Japan, will give you a purchasing power, but I realized that I don't need to be overwhelmed with my salaries. Of course, naisip ko na hindi ko kinikita yung pera na kinikita ko dito way back nung nasa Pinas ako. But of course, I don't need to be overwhelmed on this, on the value of the money, because I have a dream. So I always think of my purpose, why I go here, or why I went here in Japan. Then school breaks, you have four school breaks. You have autumn, aki, summer, winter, or fuyu break. So all those breaks, you are allowed to work 40 hours a week. So as an international student, you are only allowed to work 28 hours a week. But during those breaks, you are like a full-time worker. So some use those breaks to visit Nagoya, Tokyo, Kanagawa, Hokkaido, and everywhere. But I use those breaks to work 40 hours a week. So, yun yung mga panahon na nakakapadala tayo sa Pinas ng doble, nakakapag-save. Then, we also have school arubaito. School offers a lot of part-times like hotel, ramen store, what else? Convenience store, 7-Eleven, Family Mart, nursing care, caregiving center, like that, everything. So they offered a lot of arubaito. So it's up to you if uh if ang goal mo ba is mag-apply ng arubaito na alam mong may end goal ka, like they will offer you a visa at the end of the day. So it's up to you if you will pursue arubaito or part-time. Like me, I chose some part-time na alam ko makakapag-offer ng visa at the end of the day. So that's all for today. I just want to leave this quote: if you never go, you will never know. Because if you say yes to Japan, if you say yes to your dream to go and study here in Japan, remember that when God guides, God provides. And I'm too excited to welcome you here in Japan. And if you ask me if worth it ba yung gastos sa pag-aaral ng Japanese language here in Japan, I will definitely say yes. Thank you, and 以上です。お疲れ様です。できたデザイン